Hello, I'm David Eckard, VP of Strategy and Technology for North America at Nokia. The pandemic has further highlighted the importance of connectivity and the critical role it plays in ensuring people have access to services and opportunities, as well as to the people and things they love. 5G is here and growing in its adoption. At its core, 5G is a technological evolution that blends advances in radio technology with artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and digital processing to enable new services and products that will create economic growth and a fundamental shift in the way that we communicate. The FCC has brought new mid-band spectrum to the market that we are looking forward to bringing online in the coming year to ensure consumers can have access to enhanced mobile broadband in more places to facilitate new use cases such as enhanced video applications, cloud gaming, and more immersive experiences. At Nokia, we have successfully deployed our 5G non-standalone core to allow our existing customers to have a smooth evolution of their 4G network to 5G and to bring the immediate benefits that this new technology allows. Nokia now is deploying our 5G standalone core on both private and public cloud infrastructures, with our wireless carrier customers to support new consumer and enterprise 5G use cases quickly, securely, and with the agility that cloud-native architectures bring. Enterprises are now utilizing the capabilities of 5G so that any connected object can be located, tracked, at scale, and more cost-effectively than ever before, opening up many opportunities in the expansive industrial IoT space. The use cases for high-accuracy positioning extend virtually across all industries: warehouses, factories, hospitals, high-security facilities, all which benefit from applications that can keep track of inventory, vehicles, and also, in some cases, people to ensure their safety. We are seeing significant deployments of our private wireless solutions for these industries where security, reliability, and availability are mandatory to increase safety, productivity, and efficiency of their business. Our journey has just begun. The potential applications that this new technology will bring is limitless. As we begin to emerge from this pandemic, we find ourselves in a different world. As consumers, we have transitioned our lives out of necessity to a much more digital lifestyle, whether it be video conferencing for work, adoption of distant learning, and the utilization of telehealth services. It remains to be seen how many and how widely these newly adopted practices will remain. However, many businesses are looking to digital transformation as a means to remove many of the boundaries that are holding them back, and it's the network that will be the catalyst for this revolution. 5G will usher in new opportunities for growth. As we have experienced over the last decade, video has been the key driver for how our networks have evolved, and its importance will only continue to expand into new use cases. As an example, at Nokia, we see the adoption of aerial drones and unmanned aircraft growing in select industries like agriculture, construction, mining, public safety, as well as the oil and gas industries, where ultra-high resolution video transmission plus ultra-reliable connectivity is demanded. Effective and resilient mission-critical networks are essential to robust, seamless drone operation. One of the major barriers to digital transformation and seizing the opportunities for growth is adapting services for an architecture that simply isn't ready for it. These networks over the past several decades have been built and operated based on a siloed premise of maximized performance within a single organizational domain, each with their own life cycle of design, deploy, support, and operate. However, as we journey into the coming years, the importance of a coordinated and agile network will be fundamental to the rapid and dynamic service creation that will be required. While increases in radio performance and improvements of physical resource utilization will continue to supply additional capacity for these networks, the evolution of the network architecture is critical. This architecture must provide additional functionality and telemetry, such as additional timing information for network localization capabilities, the ability to provide guaranteed low latency connectivity, and of automation for network-wide coordination to onboard new applications seamlessly and effortlessly. At Nokia, we have brought innovative products and solutions to the market, such as our service enablement platform that provides a unified application framework for carriers to introduce new applications to the market on a cloud infrastructure. With this evolved network architecture, carriers are now employing new methods of procedures that bring significant and measurable improvements, such as up to 50% faster site build times, 40% faster software upgrades, and with injecting artificial intelligence capabilities into the network, we can achieve 50% faster average data speeds, as much as 60% less video streaming buffering, and 20% lower energy consumption. At Nokia, sustainability is a key part of our corporate fabric. We have 3 strategic cornerstones in our sustainability work: climate, integrity, and culture. We mitigate the impacts of climate change by driving efficiency in our own operations and products, and help our customers and industry mitigate their climate impact through our technology. 5G and 5G Advanced will lower the energy required to transmit a megabyte of data, which is vital to reduce the carbon footprint of mobile communications even further as traffic volumes continue to increase. But at Nokia, we wish to lead and drive this agenda forward by committing to reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions by 50% between 2019 and 2030 across all scopes of 1, 2, and 3. We will halve the 5G base station power consumption by 2023. In our fiber broadband, with our own silicon technology, we are able to reduce power consumption for our anyhaul and fiber-to-the-home products by more than 50% compared to the industry average. As we look ahead, the FCC needs to continue identifying new spectrum and provide a steady and predictable pipeline of low, mid, and high-band spectrum for the many applications that will arise in the coming years. To date, the United States has done well in the allocation of low-band and high-band spectrum. However, the key is staying on target to provide the remaining parts of the mid-band spectrum to remain competitive with the rest of the world. Nokia looks forward to the next auction of mid-band spectrum as a source of additional capacity. However, as we look at the next tranches of mid-band spectrum in the coming years, such as the 3.1 to 3.45 gigahertz spectrum, we must make sure the selection of this spectrum does not add undue cost and complexity to the deployment of the network, and that there is a prioritization of utilizing the spectrum for wide area future applications. To accelerate the deployment of 5G and 5G advanced networks, we must use caution with the arbitrary mandates such as local manufacturing and sourcing limitations. Currently, the industry's ecosystem is very dependent on an already strained global supply chain, and these mandates will likely produce minimal security gains, yet will drive up the cost of production, slow the availability of enabling technology, and raise the total cost of ownership, putting strain on the next generation U.S. network deployments. It's our recommendation to policymakers to help shape the industry-led standards-based initiatives and incentivize by providing focusing principles to drive the industry's proactive supply chain adjustment efforts and relocation initiatives. These focusing principles from the federal government will guide the industry to prioritize and phase the creation of a resilient and robust supply chain, which will improve policymaker comfort and security for these critical sectors. To allow for the densification of these 5G networks, we must continue to provide for streamlining of new infrastructure siting, further reforms for siting on federal lands, and to work to ensure that new infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and ports include attachment points for the future location of micro-infrastructure such as small cells. As we look beyond the current use cases of consumer mobility and mobile broadband, adoption by enterprises, utilities, public safety, and the vertical sectors are going to be keys to the success of 5G, 5G Advanced, and then 6G. U.S. innovation principles for our industry sometimes seems to be a song played on a one-string banjo that is focused on just mandating architectures and interfaces. We must stay focused that building a sound innovation strategy requires a multi-pronged approach, enabling funding for fundamental technologies, investing innovation labs for incubating future use cases, and establishing integration testing to bring all these pieces together. Nokia's commitment to O-RAN and the O-RAN Alliance, of which we were the first major vendor to join, remains just as strong today as it did when we first embarked on this journey. We have launched our first Open RAN Collaboration and Testing Center in Dallas to support the development of partnerships among O-RAN vendors. Our lab will enable vendors to undertake interoperability tests and end-to-end testing for radio open fronthaul, as well as application testing using Nokia's near real-time RAN intelligent controller. In addition, Nokia, as a founding member of the NextG Alliance and committed partner, will bring the foundational 6G research being done at Bell Labs to enable the interconnection between the digital and biological and physical worlds. Now, while lives may be getting longer, healthier, and richer, we still are facing fundamental challenges. We believe technology is the catalyst for these solutions of restoring productivity growth by digitalizing physical industries, responding to climate change through more efficient use of resources, and using technology to provide more inclusive access to work, healthcare, markets, and education. That's why at Nokia, our purpose is to create technology that helps the world act together. Thank you, and we look forward to working with you.